Manchester United have just played Everton today in a behind closed door friendly. There was no coverage of the match, there's no footage of the match, but obviously we're going to talk about everything we knew that happened in the match, from the lineup, from the score, who scored the goals, who was particularly good, and the purpose of this match. So McTominay actually scored the second goal to make it 2-0, and there was a few question marks originally over who scored the first goal, but the first goal was actually an Everton own goal, and Manchester United went in 1-0 up at half time, and then in the second half, Scott McTominay made it 2-0. Now, this was the game just like the game against Atletico Bilbao in Dublin last week, to give the fringe players opportunities. Players like McTominay, who played yesterday, obviously played. Players like Pellistri, that played yesterday, obviously played just to get more minutes into the leg. And it was really a game about getting minutes into the leg. So the lineup was reportedly a mixture of things. It was actually reported that Dan Gore, Donny van der Beek, and Hannibal Mejbri played. And Hannibal Mejbri actually played parts of his career out wide as a left midfielder and a right midfielder. And we know that Ten Hag will play the 4-3-3 system, despite rumours from some people when the lineup was released thinking it could be like a 4-2-2. But it will be a 4-3-3 system, because Ten Hag likes to operate with this idea of 2-8s. He wants the every team Man United have, whether it's the B team, whether it's the youth team, to mirror the first team. Johnny Evans played alongside Maguire. Lindelof didn't play because he played 45 minutes yesterday. Malacia is injured. Alvaro Fernandez played at left back, and Diego Dalot played at right back. And the purpose of this game was getting minutes into people's legs. But there's actually reports saying the purpose of this game was to put players like McTominay, Donny van der Beek, Maguire all on show for Everton Football Club as well, because a lot of these players that were playing United want to sell, even Anthony Martial. Pellistri reportedly played, and McTominay, despite playing a little bit yesterday, just to get more minutes into the legs. Hannibal Mejbri has reportedly going to stay at Manchester United. Reports coming out that he's going to stay this season because of there being a fitness in the squad. However, Luton Town have inquired about obviously signing Hannibal Mejbri on loan, and Alvaro Fernandez, there's actually been a few offers to him. Now, for me, I don't think Alvaro Fernandez should leave unless it's on a loan. I think Alvaro Fernandez is a fantastic player. From what I've heard, obviously we couldn't watch the game, there was no footage of the game, but from what I've heard from people, that apparently Alvaro Fernandez was very, very solid today in today's behind closed door match. And it was, again, as I said, all about fitness, with the score being reportedly 2-0. So I kind of want to talk about this game, what we know from the game, who played these players, and more. The United Muppeteers, who get kind of inside information regarding Manchester United and what goes on, said that the purpose of this game for United was mainly to obviously get the fringe players minutes, just like the Atletico Bilbao game was. So the fringe players get minutes in pre-season. So if they have to come in, if there's an injury or they have to step up all of a sudden, the fringe players aren't rusty and they've got those minutes in them. But another reason behind this game was, Everton, like West Ham, are probably the two clubs most linked with our players. And we do want a few more funds to come in for players like McTominay, Martial, Harry Maguire, who's reportedly staying, and it was Manchester United's chance to sort of show these players off as well. Someone said, great that Hannibal is getting a chance to break through this season as well. There's a chance that Hannibal's a chance to break through. But again, let's talk more about the game. First of all, second goal came from Scott McTominay. The United plug put out information that Hannibal, Alvaro Fernandez, and Evans started alongside Maguire, Donny van der Beek, and Martial. McTominay and Gore were all involved in the lineup. So this is how I'd assume that United line up. Dan Gore, I think, needs a loan or another season on the youth side, because I don't think he's quite ready yet. But Dan Gore is an incredible young player at United. Dan Gore, for me, has high levels of potential. Been good in pre-season, been good when he played. I think that he's someone that he won't really play in the squad so much this season. He won't be heavily involved in the squad so much this season. But I think with someone like Dan Gore, we saw it even in the Youth Cup final. I know Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho were the standout players in the Youth Cup final, but Dan Gore was that third best player for me. Reportedly, Hansen came on as a substitute today as well, because obviously people like Pellistri and McTominay aren't going to play 90 minutes because they did play 10 minutes yesterday versus Wolves. But it was a game where the youth players played, and the youth players that looked like they could get into the first team was obviously Kobbie Mainoo when he's back from injury. Erik ten Hag actually rates Kobbie Mainoo higher than McTominay. Man United are open to selling McTominay, who, despite scoring the goal today and reportedly the best player today, United will sell if the right funds come in. Just to clarify, guys, Kevin De Bruyne actually picked up an injury. Reports are coming out that Kevin De Bruyne has picked up an injury, and that is going to push Man City into going out and signing West Ham. Man City kind of being pushed into Manchester United signing West Ham. Paqueta, sorry. Man City want Paqueta of West Ham. Kevin De Bruyne's injury is kind of pushing Man City to go out there and sign Paqueta of West Ham. as well, which means there's more chance of McTominay leaving because West Ham are going to get more funds, and they do have an interest in McTominay despite getting James Ward-Prowse, and Ten Hag rates Kobbie Mainoo over McTominay. If we sell McTominay, there's more and more reason that Hannibal will stay and not go out on loan, and their expectation is that Man United are open to loaning out Hannibal and Alvaro Fernandez, but because of the injuries to Malacia, because of Man United squad being thin, there's a chance that Hannibal and Fernandez will be involved in the first team setup. Evans will be involved. Evans, I think, is staying for the rest of the season. Deleu's obviously going to be involved. Harry Maguire, expected to probably be involved now. There is reports coming out that the Harry Maguire deal is off, but I am just going to clarify something to you guys. Although reports are coming out saying, look, Maguire's transfer's off, Maguire's deal's off, there's still a chance that it can still happen. West Ham are annoyed, and West Ham are told Maguire, you've got to just make your mind up, mate. And I think that Ten Hag, while they're talking to Maguire today and say, look, when has Manchester United in the history of Manchester United paid off a player £7 million to leave the club? There's if you want to play for England, if you want to prove people wrong, this is the best thing to you to leave the club. And people will say, oh, why would you take a 40% wage cut to change jobs? It's different when you're on 80 grand a year going to 40 grand a year, but when you're on 200 grand a week going to 120 grand a week, and you have a chance to play week in, week out, you're still earning ridiculous money, and you've got a chance to play for England and be the captain of West Ham. Surely, Maguire should do that. He's Ten Hag's fifth choice centre-back. Ten Hag, I think, will have a word with Maguire, and I think the Maguire deal is off, but there definitely is potential for that Maguire deal to still happen. McTominay depends on the bid. Ten Hag is happy to keep McTominay because he's not on ridiculous wages. McTominay is good as a bench player. He's physical. He's 6'4", and Ten Hag does like McTominay, but Ten Hag's saying, look, I'm not going to turn down 40 million for McTominay. We won't get anywhere near that for him next summer. He'll only be worth 20 million. So Ten Hag, again, kind of showing off McTominay today, wants to keep him fit in shape. Impressed for Everton. McTominay could go. Dan Gore is a player that Ten Hag rates highly, but I think, again, won't be heavily involved. And Donny van der Beek's move to Real Sociedad is a little bit up in the air, and reportedly that is probably delaying the Amrabat deal. But it was said today that Donny was very good. It was said today that Donny, Gore, McTominay, and Hannibal Mejbri were all very good. And all of that as well, and that it was just about getting the players up to fitness. It's good to see that Martial could actually play a game today for Manchester United without picking up an injury. So smash that like button if you're honestly shocked that Martial played today without getting an injury. And there are reports that West Ham and Inter Milan are interested in Martial, but I can't see anyone making an offer for Martial on 250k a week. You can play 9 games a season injured. I think that Anthony Martial will probably and most likely end up staying at Manchester United. I just wanted to say evening to everybody in the chat. This is just a short live stream, but there is going to be a live stream at 7 p.m. now. And how will people feel about Harry getting booed now? I don't think Harry Maguire should be booed. I think it's completely wrong to boo Harry Maguire, in all honesty. But at the same time, people are going to boo him because they're going to be annoyed that he's refusing to leave the club unless we give him a payout. It's the attitude that it speaks of. Saying, I'm not going to leave Manchester United unless you give me a large payout. If we give Maguire a payout for leaving the club, if we sell Martial, we're going to have to give him a payout. If we sell McTominay, we're going to have to give him a payout. Man United can't give Harry Maguire a payout for leaving the club because it means every player that is sold since Maguire leaves gets a payout as well. So it would be silly, and he doesn't deserve to be booed. But the fact that he's been booed, the fact that he stripped the captaincy, the fact that the managers said that you're not wanted and it's playing Lindelof over him and he's not involved in the setup, and Levi Colwill's playing a fair bit for Chelsea, and the Euros are coming up. Why don't you go to West Ham? Always wants to. I think it would be good for your career, and I think Maguire's got the wrong people around him saying stay at United for the money, because he's not going to get the minutes at United. He's not particularly wanted at United. Despite him being a solid centre-back, and as a fifth-choice centre-back, he's not a bad option. But Ten Hag wants some guns. We can bring in Pavard or Todibo. And, Maguire's got a really good opportunity at West Ham. West Ham are a good club. They're in the Europa League. I think he would be their best player. And I think we'd see the England Maguire at West Ham, not the Man United Maguire that gets bullied online and makes mistakes. The best thing Maguire could do for me is definitely go and leave United. And I don't know if he'll go or not, but I think Ten Hag will be talking to Maguire today. He wants Maguire gone, but Maguire doesn't want to take a wage cut, and that's put West Ham off Maguire as well. And if Maguire doesn't need to agree to go, I don't want to see him wearing a United shirt again, not even for the reserves. I mean, the thing is, if Maguire stays, we don't have the money to replace him, and we don't have the depth and centre-back to kick him out of the squad. And I think that he is a good player, and he still can have some use. It would only cause problems kicking Maguire out of the squad, especially on 200k a week. But I think Ten Hag needs to have a strong talking to Maguire and say, look, it's best if you go. For me, we don't give players payout. We don't owe you a payout. To ask for a payout, then every other player since you who leaves wants a payout. Surely this should be about the Euros and the football. And if I'm Maguire, if I'm Ten Hag, I have a word with Maguire. But Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he was like today versus Everton. I don't know if he was good. I don't know if he was bad. But from what has been said, McTominay and Donny were good today. Gore was impressive today. Apparently, Mejbri was good today. McTominay scored the goal. The other goal was an own goal, but United kept a clean sheet. So, you know, what I have to say is this reserve team, this team that's been playing not so much for United, but this reserve team in pre-season was better than the first team. This reserve team's just got a nice win over Everton. The reserve team does seem to be the best team Manchester United have at the moment as well. And now I don't agree with player hating, but it's best for him if he goes as well. Good chance keeping his England place as well. Going to lose it if we're going to keep him on the bench. And I agree, it's not even about hating on Maguire. I think it's actually what's best for him, and that is to leave. So guys, this was just a really quick live stream to kind of cover everything we know regarding the Manchester United Everton game, because obviously there's no footage of the game out there, but we've got a whiff of who the lineup was, who the goal scorers was, who was good. It obviously came out yesterday from the people's person that United were playing a closed door friendly versus Everton today, and this was a game where there wasn't really going to be the first team playing, there wasn't going to be any coverage, as it said, but it was about giving the fringe players those minutes for Everton and both Manchester United. Those players that were rotated were going to go and get the minutes. Obviously, you saw the lineup on my screen, and United plug and their sources have confirmed that the goal scorers was McTominay and all of that. And the first goal was an own goal, and that certain youth players played and certain youth players were good. And it's kind of just a repeat of Atletico Bilbao, but United got the wins. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe down below. I'm back at 7 p.m. tonight. I'm back in 3 hours with a big live stream. So all about Maguire, all about Amrabat, all about Pavard, all the latest on that. So I will see you later tonight, and bye.